Alright, what's up, guys? Today my video format is slightly different. Apart from the change in the setting that I usually make my videos in, and also some of the gear that I'm using, I'm also not going to be doing this video the way I usually do, which is like a free form script. There is no script in my regular videos, but today I will be reading off an essay that I wrote. So the topic of today's video is living a life of radical simplicity and some of my reflections on what I call urbanite slavery. So living in the 21st century, every day, every moment has been engineered to create for enjoyment for the urbanite human population. We spend endless hours on an array of personal technological devices engineered by people who have a deep desire to exploit human psychology to keep you tuned into their world and tuned out of your own material and spiritual realities. Now, these are people who use our attention and overwhelm our minds with propaganda disguised as entertainment. They keep us from thinking deeply of our life. Even if you perceive yourself immune to this, possess realization, or consider yourself to be on alternative sections of the entertainment media matrix, you are part of the system. And almost everything on the system has been designed to either keep you stupid, blind, or agitated. Now, the key focus is to keeping you engaged in many ways that make you dependent on them. Now, this dependence can be a need for entertainment or giving you false or propped up causes to be perpetually agitated about. Now, how do we combat this? Through mindful consumption, calling for reform, breaking up big tech through big government? Not really. I believe the most simple and radical method of action is to simply walk away from the system. No grand exits, no delusions of grandeur, just a refusal to engage with that which erodes society and our humanity. Now, this has a more powerful impact than most revolutionaries, quote unquote, or thinking people would like to believe. When we agitate against the system, within the system, we are ultimately playing by its rules. But when we refuse to play ball with the system, it slowly collapses in on itself. Now, how do we begin to act in such a way? How can we stop being hypocrites who complain about things and continue to use them? I think it starts with a slow and steady commitment towards actualizing our theorized principles and experimenting with the removal of those things that society deems necessary. Cancel that streaming subscription. Delete that account which you're overly invested in. Stop reading the news every day. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to read the news every day. I'm not against being well informed, but a lot of news is just written to create false agitation. Having a rough idea of the news, key into the important moments once in a while, but don't concern yourself with every micro change in the political landscape. You will realize how moments spent obsessing over some election or some politician is so deeply trivial. There are few moments and methods that the average person can use to manifest change in politics, and being in perpetual upset with your opposition on the internet is hardly one of the ways to do it. So I can share an example from my personal life. I consider internet privacy to be quite important. But globally, we have a push from states and corporate entities trying to encroach upon our privacy, who use our data against us. It starts with more harmless and monetarily incentivized pursuits, such as targeted advertising, to more nefarious purposes, such as the state or corporates targeting and harming socio-political dissidents. Now, I consider this to be deeply disturbing. However, I realize that as a common person, I have limitations and priorities that are bigger and more pertinent in my personal and immediate life. So, how do I negotiate my duties on a day-to-day level and this socio-political reality? Well, apart from occasionally raising awareness from my peers and having a rough idea of which politicians push for such encroachment of such rights and which don't, I don't do a whole lot in the public domain. And I realized that there are still a lot of things I can do on a personal level to secure my privacy, and there forces conspiring to take that freedom away from me? Quite possibly, yes. However, I think my method of taking as much control into my hands and tackling issues I feel are important on a personal level is a whole lot more powerful than spending my time endlessly lobbying for an endless number of causes on the internet. I also feel like for most issues, a grassroots approach is always more impactful than vying for top down changes. Raising the consciousness of the masses is always more powerful than trusting and hoping for humanity amongst elite bureaucrats. Now, that small tangent aside, what are the benefits you can expect from such a move away from the offerings of the system? And how does this tie into the idea of living a life of radical simplicity? How does it free you from urbanite slavery? In today's world, being plugged into various avenues that extend beyond your physical realities is the norm. What is the result? Our immediate realities, things that surround us, often take the backseat. We are so lost in the entertainment, in the hustle of the system, and all the decisions it conditions us to take that we never take the required time to introspect and make meaningful decisions. What I have found is that every time I step away from things such as obsessing over the news, social media, the hustle, etc., I develop insights and a sensitivity for life that I usually don't possess. Every moment becomes exceedingly beautiful, and the tenderness of life opens up to you like a flower in spring. You realize how nonsensical, how egotistical, how selfish so many of your pursuits and desires are. This is a moment of humbling and personal enlightenment. How does this come about? Well, I think constant entertainment keeps us dull and passive. When we are deprived of it, we become bored. And of this boredom is born insight and creativity. Now, this insight has always directed me to some common themes. A lot of things that we do as modern people in urban settings is not only unnecessary but also deeply harmful. This in turn has made life in rural environments with select technology much more appealing. Of course, where I'm situated in life right now, this is not an immediate possibility. But I am not one for puritanism. I take and apply what I can to where I am situated. I cut back on a lot of nonsense consciously. This leads to an improvement in my mental health and my success in personal ventures. Now, the final word is that I don't think my words can do complete justice to the gains you can enjoy from being more conscious about how you use your time. That is something for each and every one of you to discover for yourself. You will realize how much mental slavery and domestication is propelled by the powerful and exerted on those living in sterilized cities. You will realize how much is to be gained from living simply, which in today's times has become a radical act. Thank you.